Gladiator was directed by Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott was born on November 30th, 1937, so he's currently 81 years old. Ridley Scott's films are usually based on the time period and setting, so Gladiator was no exception. Ridley Scott received many nominations for Best Director because of Gladiator. Gladiator is an action hero film set in the Roman era where a republic was on the rise until a corrupt prince takes charge. Ridley Scott set this movie's theme to be revenge. So, he uses flashbacks and dream sequences in order to remind the protagonist, Maximus, that he needs revenge. Maximus' death is very often foreshadowed in the film, like when he sees his deceased family and his old farm, or when he clearly does not fear death. The exposition of the film is that an empire is about to become a republic with the help of the loyal general Maximus, instead of a corrupt prince Commodus. The initial incident is when Commodus decides to kill his own father and Maximus and his family, but Maximus survives as a slave and becomes a gladiator. The rising action is then Maximus' grind to become the greatest gladiator so that he could get close to Commodus and get his revenge. The crisis/climax of the film is when Maximus finally fights Commodus, and even with the disadvantage he is given, being stabbed to the body, he still manages to kill Commodus and save Rome from corruption. So then the following action is Maximus' death due to his wound, and this makes all of Rome honor him for defying the empire and letting a republic flourish. The film is almost 3 hours long and successfully keeps the audience invested in the story throughout the whole time. Gladiator has many hubs and very little satellites. Some of the hubs were Maximus' gaining of loyalty with his fellow gladiators, just like he did when he was a general, and he gained loyalty from his fellow soldiers. A satellite in the film was most of Commodus' random incestuous tendencies with his sister because it was unnecessary in the plot. That hub of Maximus gaining loyalty is very important in the film because he always somehow manages to gain loyalty even from the audience when he's a gladiator. The mise-en-scene of this film is done very well because it is obvious that it is set in the Roman era. The costumes that the characters wear look like clothing of ancient Rome, and the gladiators all wear armor and wield weapons used during the time period. The set of the film is mostly in colosseums, and those were very popular during the Roman era, which helps the audience understand where the film is set in. It is important that the mise-en-scene must look the way it does. Otherwise, the audience won't understand the narrative, so they wouldn't understand where the film takes place and why the characters are doing what they are doing. The actors in Gladiator fit their role well and are known for their acting personalities that go on for many different movies. Russell Crowe does a great job of depicting a general and gladiator in this film because in most of his movies, his personality shows that he is a strong and noble hero. He looks the part and is important that he does because in the film, he is known as the Spaniard, so he has to resemble one. Director Ridley Scott got along well with Russell Crowe because Crowe liked how a lot of the time Scott put every focus on the actors and allowed them to even take part in creating their own script. Another actor that did a good job of playing his role was Richard Harris. He did a good job of playing an old emperor because his personality shows that he is wise, and he has shown his personality in other films such as Harry Potter, where he plays Dumbledore. One major theme in the film is Maximus' motivation of revenge due to the murder of his father-like figure and his wife and child. Maximus later realizes in the film that revenge shouldn't be his only motivation because the people of Rome need him so that a republic could be made.
But the Senate is the people, sire, chosen from among the people to speak for the people.
Another theme is Commodus' motivations of gaining power and jealousy because his father gave all his love to a general rather than his own son. This motivation is set this way so that the audience can see that it is understandable for him to be evil.
I will give the people a vision of Rome and they'll love me for it. And you'll soon forget the tedious sermonizing of a few dry old men.
Another theme is the power of the people. Maximus shows time and time again that if you have the power and loyalty of people, you will always win. Ridley Scott's Gladiator was definitely successful in creating a modern epic film. In the 2000s generation, Roman epic films were definitely not at a high demand, nor were they very popular, since movies with the visual effects were very popular during this time. Despite this, Ridley Scott decided to direct this film, and the reviews were great, reaching an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb, a 77% Rotten Tomatoes, and a 10 out of 10 from me. The narrative of this film heavily relies on its revenge theme, and this makes for a good hero action plot, especially as a modern epic. Also, the mise-en scene in this film does a good job of representing the feel of ancient Rome, and the actors did a great job of representing their characters and their personalities. So, in conclusion, I believe that Ridley Scott's Gladiator was a success in creating a modern epic, and it was really good. Also, last thing, this movie's ending almost made me cry, but don't tell anyone, alright? Shh.